Welcome back to Thrive Yoga Fit Transformational Coaching. This is Erin. So I'm about to go off for 3 weeks to India, and I'm super excited. Many of you know that India is my spiritual homeland. It's the land of chai and curry and spiritual evolution for me. Seems like every time I go, I'm 4 for 4, but I have some sort of experience that really shifts me in a big way. So trying to manage expectations because I don't want to put that out there too much. But that being said, evidence suggests that these things happen for me, which is nice. And it is very hot in Florida. Like Florida is Florida-ing, and it's like in Mysore, India, it's actually like in upper 70s, and here it's about 15 degrees hotter. So I really can't wait to get the heck out of Florida. I'm really understanding about snowbirds and why they do what they do as far as, um, you know, moving to a different part of the country and then visiting Florida, just for the winter time. So um, today I'm going to be talking about the chakras, and I'm going to be doing a whole series on it, tying in the life coaching tools that I teach based on particular chakra areas. So today's episode is going to be an overview of what I'm going to be discussing, and then just giving like kind of a little bit of detail. So if you're into the chakras and you want to learn more about them, chakras are a form of subtle anatomy. In yogic texts, they talk about the chakras. It is also something that if you see an image of Vishnu, who is a part of the Trimurti, and Vishnu is responsible for preservation of the world as we know it, right? So Vishnu is typically blue. He rides a serpent, Ananta, or depends on the aspect of the serpent. There's a lot of different names for these deities, as well as like the animals that sort of accompany them. So I realize this can get all confusing, and my students ask me like, how do you know all these names? And I'm like, I don't even know most of them. I know some of them, but it just takes years of practice, repetition, and sincere interest. That helps with anything, right? That's why my Japanese is excelling in the way that it is because I'm sincerely interested in speaking, even though my listening skills are like so. Now I'm getting it. Um, but chakras. So Vishnu has spinning on his finger also a chakra. So what is a chakra? Chakra is a disc, but maybe you can think of it as an orb, okay? And it's spinning. And your chakras spin in particular directions. And you have, according to yogic thought, you have 7 of them. And so you have one at the root. This is called Mooladhara. You have one at the sacral, which is called Svadhisthana. You have one at the solar plexus, which is Manipura. Then you have one at the heart, which is Anahata. You have one at the throat, which is Vishuddhi. And then you have one at the third eye, Anya. And then one at the crown, which is Sahasrara. So not for the whole body, but almost. There's ganglion nerve complexes that are situated where each one of the chakras are. So that's an interesting coming together of the East and the West mentality of like, oh, there's actually these power centers in the body that do exist according to Western physiology, and also an energetic anatomy in yoga. And I always love it when things like that sort of come together. So the chakras, again, are energy complexes that sort of come together, and they represent different parts of the body. And a lot of times they're associated with different colors, different sounds, different emotions. And if we can learn how to work with each one individually, including some meditation, then I think that we can unlock deeper aspects of ourselves. So another thing that is unique to the chakras is that you have many different energy channels in your body. I was going to say you have 3. You have, depending on the book that you're reading, you have maybe upwards of 72,000. I've seen triple that number. I've seen less than that number. But let's just say you have meridians or energy pathways or nadis, Nadis, as we say in yoga. We have a really cool shirt at the studio called Naughty by Nature, but it's spelled Nadi. And I'm like, what's up? That's just a little bit thug. I love it. So, Nadi. nadis are energy channels that move through your body. It's more subtle than veins. It's more subtle than nerves. It's very, very, very subtle, but it exists. And the nadis carry prana. Prana is your life force that exists within you and all around you. In Eastern thought, everything has a kind of prana, and the difference between a living creature and something that is not living anymore is that there's a lack of prana. Like that's it. so, so you have three main energy channels in your body. So you have the main one that goes up the center called the Sushumna. Then you have one that is associated with the left nostril in the feminine aspect, and this is the Ida prana. And then you have one that goes up the other side that is associated with the right nostril, and that is called the Pingala. So just like a DNA strand, when the Sushumna is like straight and then the Ida and Pingala, they come together in these different spaces, that is where you're going to have a chakra. So, shall we begin? So the chakras are, again, energy complexes that exist along the spine, and they are associated with different types of emotions and colors. So the root chakra, which is called Mooladhara, this one is associated with the color red. It is associated with safety, with a feeling of grounding. The patron deity of this chakra is Ganesha, and the sound here is Lam. So we did a chakra series at the studio where I was teaching, and we repeated over and over again, Lam, Lam, Lam. And if you repeat that, it's called a bija mantra. A bija mantra is like a seed mantra. If you repeat that over and over again and like just draw awareness down into your root, you're going to start to feel some things move, especially if you commit to doing all the chakras. When I was teaching that class, I have a little video of me saying, hey, when you're doing this, a lot of times you won't feel it until you start to get up to the heart, because the heart connects the above to the below. And everyone disassociates just a little bit. We have different traumas in our body, so on and so forth. Hence the title of this podcast, which is Chakras, Trauma to Transformation. If we can make contact with these different areas, then we can start to kind of like open them up. So the root chakra, again, safety, red. The sound is Lam, and it's about grounding. So this is the chakra that allows us to feel like we're in our bodies. This is the chakra that when they say, like, if you fly, or like I'm about to get on an airplane for a day and I need to ground afterwards, I need to really like focus on this chakra. So a way that you can sort of make contact with it is by engaging Ashwini Mudra. What is that? It's a mudra that you do with your butthole. So, and I said it here on Thrive Yoga Fit. Yes, so it's a technique that you do, which like engaging, kind of lifting up the anal sphincter muscles, and this helps you to kind of capture and keep energy inside of you, because the thought is that, okay, we're constantly leaking energy in different ways through our eyes, through our senses, like down under, like up above. So if we can kind of draw inward, which is the traditional Patanjali 8-limb path of yoga, then we can, kind of use that energy that we're directing inward for self-actualization, for self-realization. A couple more things that the root chakra is associated with is security, financial, as well as emotional. With inner child work, it is associated with fears, family trauma, abandonment wounds, which is something that hence, if you've listened to the last couple of podcasts, I'm kind of like unpacking that within myself, because I definitely have some abandonment wounds, and I think a lot of people do. So this chakra, to work with it, again, the sound is Lam, and the color is red. The feeling is safety and security. And if you can take a moment just to breathe, kind of draw your awareness down into your root, And just imagine a tree, and that tree growing roots, rooting you in and connecting you to the earth's vibration, rooting in and connecting you to the deeper energy that binds us all. Allowing you to grow taller because you have this foundation pulling nutrition from the earth, feeling supported, feeling loved, and keeping this in mind. Let's see if we can repeat a few times the mantra lum, 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 lum. Keep drawing your awareness down into the root. Lum, 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 lum. Bringing in the lum idea of security, safety, being held, being supported. Color is red. And see if you can engage and release the anal sphincter muscles here. Good. So making contact with this first chakra. So another thing that's associated with this chakra is like abundance. So when we feel like there's scarcity in life, we feel fearful, we feel terror, even panic. So this archetype is also going from victim mindset into creator. So when we get a healthy grasp and connection with this chakra, we go from, if you're familiar with the drama triangle and empowerment dynamic work that was coined by Mark Emerald, then you would step again from the victim mentality into the creator. And when we can do that, we can start to create in our lives. We feel less lost. We feel less like a lost puppy, like, please help me. Can you figure it out? I don't know what I'm doing. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten into a new situation and I've had to figure it out, and it's like rooting into my body, trusting my body helps me to figure out the way. I presented at a new venue this last weekend. And, I didn't, when I set it up, I put my heart fully forward. I advertised, I promoted, I tagged people, I did all like the sort of runaround stuff. But in the background, I'm also like upping my meditation. I'm putting together, not just from up here, but definitely in my heart, like this whole presentation. I'm connecting with my drummer, Tony, because him and I have really good musical chemistry. And I'm sort of choreographing and cultivating this experience for people and what I want it to be like the container I want to create and the vibe I want to give. And I'll tell you, every single person at that workshop, it was called Roots to Crown. The place is called Roots to Crown Healing with myself, Erin Garrity. And every single person in that room had a deep transformational experience. And the intention was there, the container was present, and it was a lot of root work, though we did a lot of pranayama breathing, so on and so forth. So, somatic work also helps us to heal root chakra areas. In my second book, Journey Through the Dark to Find Light, I share a story of a woman who had severe root chakra like imbalance. And during the session, she was on the other end. She was in Europe and obviously in America. So like there was one point where she talked about some sexual abuse that she had and how she just felt so ungrounded and unsafe all the time. And in the session, she wound up like kind of cupping that area and breathing and then, kind of like rubbing her hands, like feeling her body and like reminding herself and teaching her nervous system that it was safe and that this area is protected. And that's another way that you can make contact with the Mooladhara, this root area, if you've had any traumatic experiences regarding that area. So um, we need also this chakra to be open for us to manifest, because if we're living in a space of fear, which like fear is associated with Mooladhara chakra being off, is we're going to be blocked. So fear comes up for me like all the time. I Some people know me in person and they kind of see that I'm walking the walk, and like if you're listening to this podcast, you might think, oh, well, she seems nice and she seems like she knows what she's talking about. But there certainly is a chance that as soon as I hit the pause button on this, that I go off and I'm acting like a butt to everybody and I'm not walking my walk. um, but the truth is that I'm perfectly imperfect, but I do use the tools and I am interested in self growth and helping people evolve. It's kind of like my life's work. So, part of that is manifesting, like being able to have clear vision, which is called Sudarshan, and have an energetic, emotional state that is mostly one of joy. I can't honestly tell you that I walk around in joy all the time, but I can tell you that I do a lot. And I do have a childlike wonder with a lot of things. And, that's something that I work on. I don't just roll out of bed like, oh boy, like, let's just roll the dice and see. I mean, life does that enough. So it's like, all right, well, I'm going to get my mind right while I'm, have a say in it before my mind gets too busy. So all these things. So there's a couple of techniques we talked about. We talked about like engaging and releasing Ashwini Mudra. We talked about the bija mantra, which is lam, lam, lam. Another thing I want to mention is like if you do have like fear and terror in this area, or if you have abandonment wounds, the inner child work that you're going to want to do is going back in with that child and supporting them, like giving them love. Like when I think of my child that needs to be supported because of abandonment wounds she's in, you guessed it, child's pose. And she's also kind of occupying herself and is very kind of shy and very introverted, which might seem weird because I'm so extroverted now. But at some point, I think, maybe it was introduction into elementary school or something. It's like my introvertedness, because I lived in the countryside and there were some kids to play with, but they weren't all around all the time. And so I occupied myself a lot. I was always like, very curious about the world, and I was always like looking at the anatomy of like bugs and birds, and I was always like just studying nature, and kind of like I wanted to understand how things worked on a very deep level. So I'd literally like pull it apart. um, so when I go back and do that abandonment work, I go back to like my inner child, and like, you know, give her hope and faith that there's someone conscious that's paying attention to her, that sees her gifts. Because, I love my father. My father is one of my best friends, but, he was figuring his stuff out. My mother was bipolar, and she did the best that she could, 5 kids. She had a lot of trauma in her life. And she's now since passed, 4 years now. So, like little Erin had to figure things out, and that's how she was when she was little. And that, in my adulthood, maybe through some of the things I've been through last year, and just navigating myself in this new era of my life, is something that was a little lost. So that's something I've been working with. So I hope this episode helps you. I hope that my sincere sharing also helps you, because, I do it from my heart. The stories that I tell, it's not made up, it's like real. And whether it's client stories, though I don't give their names or anything, there's no way that you could figure out who it was. But, these are like real clients that I've had experiences with, and I've used tools to help them heal. And I feel very lucky isn't the word, because I know that I've earned where I'm at, and I know that I walk the walk. But honored is the word, maybe. I feel honored. I feel happy. I feel gratitude to be be able to do the work that I do and work with who I do and do what I love, essentially. So, couple of things. I have a couple of spots left for Japan. If you're interested, we are booking the accommodations, hotels, and all that stuff. So if you want to get in while the getting's good, we have 2 spots left. So if you're interested, come with me to Japan. I'll teach you some Japanese. We'll eat some sushi. It'll be a really good time. If you'd like to check that out, you can go to thriveyogafit.com. And if you'd like to coach with me, I do have 2 spots open for personal life coaching. You can email me, Erin at erincoach.com, if you're interested in working with me. All the tools that I talk about on my podcast are the ones that I use with clients. And by you showing up together, then a lot of times new tools and skills are developed for me too, because each person, it's not cookie cutter, it's customized, and I'm very present with you. And so, with all the work that I do in the channeling, like whatever comes out for you comes out for you. And I have tools to kind of lie back on just in case we have one of those days where it's like, we're not like channeling today. But a lot of times that does come out. So, I think that's it. I hope that you have a great day, and thanks for listening to my podcast. Namaste.